Before the days of athletic sanctioning bodies, there was gambling and time to kill. Sometimes within the United States and Britain, gamblers bet on foot races over the course of 24 hours. Thus, 100 miles would become the challenge distance, and the world record mark steadily improved. The year is 1737, and a now unknown carpenter has wagered he can complete 100 miles in under 24 hours. He wound up barely succeeding to become the man to achieve this mark. John Haig broke the record on August 9th, 1762, with a time of 23 hours and 15 minutes along a Manchester road. The next man to break the world record was Foster Powell, who became one of the first celebrity pedestrians for his records across multiple distances. His time of 21 hours and 20 minutes comes out to an average pace per mile of 12:48, which he did in 1788. This is still a remarkable feat in 2024. Powell's time stood for 18 years before Robert Barclay Allardyce shattered it in 1806 with a time of 19 hours flat. Pedestrianism was getting pushed to its limits, and a new breed of athlete was forming. Chapter 2, Ultra Running begins. Another 18 years passed before a new record occurred. Edward Rayner, on the 14th of April, 1824, became the first man to break the 18-hour barrier. His exact time was 17 hours, 52 minutes. Gone were the days when pedestrians could break the world record because the first ultra runner was here. Chapter 3, Amateur Running. It took 54 years for anyone to outbest Rayner's mark. Hugh Lowther became the man to do so with a time of 17 hours and 21 minutes. This finally opened the floodgates for more 100-miler ultra runners to appear. By jogging with occasional 2 to 3 minute breaks, Lowther improved the world record by 31 minutes. 2 months after Lowther's performance, George Hazell broke the record with a time of 17 hours, 4 minutes. Or is that... This mark was achieved in August of 1878 and is the first 100-mile world record with a time confirmed to the second. Hazell would also become the first man to break their own record in April of 1879 when he ran a time of 15 hours, 35 minutes, and 31 seconds. Charles Rowell became the first man to break 14 hours in November of 1880 with a mark of 13 hours, 57 minutes, and 13 seconds. He would beat his own mark in 1882 with a time of 13 hours, 26 minutes, and 30 seconds. To put that time into perspective, the average mile split comes out to 8 minutes and 3.9 seconds. This record stood for 55 years. Rowell held the record for 57 years. which is equal to how long he lived. On July 3rd, 1937, Hardy Bollington broke the longest standing world record 100-mile run by 5 minutes and 11 seconds, reaching a time of 13 hours, 21 minutes, and 19 seconds. While the record returned to a lull, it would also be the end of the archaic amateur age. The professionals arrived to take the record in 1953, and nobody was going to stop them. Chapter 3: The Professional Age. Ultra running was able to attract professional runners as it wasn't controlled by the established heads of sport, who fought against people being paid for their sport. While these elitist men kneecapped the poor's ability to participate at every possible turn, they held no power over ultra runners. The first real pro at the 100-mile was Wally Hayward, who set the first sub-13-hour time of 12 hours, 46 minutes, and 34 seconds on November 20th, 1953. Nearly 15 years later, David Box officially broke the record with a mark of 12 hours, 40 minutes, and 48 seconds. This is a point in time when the record split between road and track. Box's record from 1968 was for the track. Hopcroft held the undisputed record of 12 hours, 18 minutes, and 16 seconds, done in November 20th of 1958 on the road. The track record would be lowered by John Tarrant in November of 1969 with a time of 12 hours, 31 minutes, and 10 seconds. Known to poach amateur races due to being disbarred for professionalism, Tarrant flourished in ultra running. His record in the 100-mile would be short-lived though, 6 months to be exact. George Pradhan broke Tarrant's record by 6 minutes and 1 second in May of 1970. His record was even shorter-lived than Tarrant's. 2 months later, David Box became the first man to reclaim the 100-mile record with a mark of 12 hours, 15 minutes, and 9 seconds on July 31st, 1970. This record stood for 2 years. On October 6th, 1972, Derek Kay became the first man to run 100 miles in under 12 hours, with a time of 11 hours, 56 minutes, and 56 seconds. This equates to a pace of 7 minutes and 10.2 seconds per mile, which is truly booking it. Kevin Woodward ended up shattering the record by over 18 minutes on October 25th, 1975, with a time of 11 hours, 38 minutes, and 54 seconds. This is sub 7-minute mile pace, which is faster than what the vast majority of people can maintain for a mile, much less 100. This blistering pace wouldn't stop Don Ritchie from breaking the record on October 15th, 1977, with an 11-hour, 30-minute, and 51-second time. His record withstood the turn of the century and marks the end of an era. Chapter 4, Modern Prose. 25 years after Don Ritchie's remarkable performance, Oleg Kharitonov set a new record of 11 hours, 28 minutes, and 3 seconds on November 1st, 2002. Even with the record being lowered, it seemed obvious that the 100-mile run was never going to be done in under 11 hours. The limits were approaching us, it seemed. After another 17 years, Zach Bitter set a record of 11 hours, 19 minutes, and 13 seconds on August 24th, 2019. Hope for the sub-11 was rekindled. Now, someone just had to bring the record there. Alexander Sorokin pushed the record down to 11 hours, 14 minutes, and 56 seconds on April 24th, 2021. Then Sorokin pushed beyond the 11-hour and 10-minute barrier, straight into the first sub-11-hour 100-mile run, with a mark of 10 hours, 51 minutes, and 39 seconds. This is where the record is today. Never loudly say something is impossible, or someone will do it just to prove you wrong. Always appreciate and remember the lessons from those in the past. We cannot talk to people like John Tarrant nor John Haig, but they were people. Remember their determination and hope for the future. I'd like to thank ultrarunninghistory.com for having the majority of this information archived. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.